I am now a Tennessee Squire. And to celebrate this unique honor, I have decided to make a Jack and Coke Old Fashioned. No time to waste, let's go. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways. I am Doc Martinez, and yes, I am a Squire. I want to give a shout out to Major Xero and Layton for thinking of me and nominating me. I really do appreciate them for this honor. I also want to thank Jack Daniels for accepting my nomination. I want to thank my wife and kids. I want to thank, come on, the music already. Well, to celebrate this honor, I wanted to go back to one of the most iconic cocktails, Jack and Coke. Then, of course, I want to do what I do best. Use this for inspiration for a riff on an old fashioned. Are you ready? No time to waste. Let's jump into this first one. All right, the first one I'm calling Simple Jack and Coke Old Fashioned. Ingredients: Jack, Mexican Coke, Angostura bitters, and an orange for an orange peel. All right, let's start making the Simple Jack and Coke Old Fashioned. This was gonna be made directly in a glass already with a nice large ice cube in it. I always like to start off by adding the bitter. So we're gonna add 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. I like it. Nice heavy dash like that are fine with me because I do like the bitters. Now I got a brand new bottle. So I did have a bottle of Jack, but that's all I had left in it. It's been sitting on my shelf for a few years, so I figured in this occasion requires a brand new bottle, so that's what we're doing. I'm gonna admit, it's been a while since I've had a Jack and Coke, so I'm pretty excited. All right, we're gonna do 2 full ounces of this, and we're gonna pour that in. Now, I do wanna stir this up a little bit. Let this cool kind of mix, get that whiskey a little nice and chilled. Now, we don't have to go for too long. I just want this to chill a little bit, just to get a little bit chill. I'm gonna be mixing it some more. For my sweetener, I'm actually using Coke, the Mexican Coke. This uses cane sugar. There's a lot of sugar in these things. Let's see, does it say on here? Sugar in one of these is 39 grams of sugar in one of these. So if you say that's not a sweetener, I don't know what is, but I'm gonna go with the whole 2 ounces of this as well, to make this more like a true Jack and Coke. Now I'm gonna stir that up just a little bit more so we get this incorporated. Chill that out a little bit more. The Coke's been in the fridge, so the Coke's been nice and chilled. I need to grab an orange. We're gonna take a little bit of the peel. I went to the store to grab this orange specifically because I like it when it has a nice thick peel like that. We're gonna express the oils over the top, and then we're gonna wipe down the sides and just wipe down the inside, and then just drop that right in. So there you have it, my simple Jack and Coke Old Fashioned, probably my most similar to a Jack and Coke drink. Let's go in for that first taste. Oh yeah, that is a Jack and Coke for sure. Now, if you think I was stopping there, you're wrong. We're gonna go up another level. Now we're gonna make another one. This next one's a step up from the last one. So let's talk about this, and I'm calling this just a Jack and Coke Old Fashioned. So ingredients: 2 ounces of Jack, half an ounce of Mexican Coke reduction, and there'll be a description how to make this in the bottom. 1 dash Angostura bitters, 1 dash orange bitters, and that orange again for that orange peel. Just like that last one, the just a Jack and Coke Old Fashioned is made directly in the glass with a nice ice cube in it already. And as always, we always start with the bitters. So we're gonna do only 1 dash of Angostura bitters this time. And we're also gonna add, oops, got some on myself there. We're gonna add 1 dash of orange bitter. Any orange bitters you have will do. I have the Hella orange bitter, so add that in there. Now, we're gonna add a whole ½ ounce of Coke reduction. That is a lot. It's gonna make this a very sweet drink, but we also want that Coke influence to come out a lot in this one. And if you go a little bit too less, you're not gonna get that. So you want a whole ½ ounce of that. Put that in there. Nice and dark and thick. Smells really good, but it does smell a little sweet. And now we're gonna add 2 ounces of Jack. And we're gonna stir this up. Once again, just stirring for enough, just for it to chill. Sometimes with these bigger ice cubes, you have to take a little bit longer, but I did have it sit in the glass for a while. There you go, I started to feel it chill on my fingers now. All right. That's probably just perfect. Let me get that orange out and get another orange peel for this one. Now, I'm not dressing these up, making them look pretty, because all I'm using is for an expression over the orange, and then just wiping it down on the sides, and then dropping that in. So here you go, just a Jack and Coke Old Fashioned. Very different than the other one. A little bit bitter. Not as sweet as I thought. I thought this was going to be a lot sweeter because this should have made it very, very sweet. That was a better drink. I don't know why that first one was so bitter. More of that sweetness. This one actually could use a little bit more of that sweetness in it if you want a little bit of a sweeter drink. There is a little bit of bitterness to it, so I'm actually not going to leave the orange peel in it because I don't want that to keep making it more bitter. But I do like this one. I did enjoy that last one, but we are not done yet. Anytime I'm doing drinks, I like to do some research. And in my research, I found another version. Now, those two were just my creations, kind of playing with it a little bit, trying to start simple. I'm going to work my way up. Now, this one I saw Steve the bartender make. However, it was actually an original creation from Educated Barfly. I will leave a link to both of those videos below. And this one they just called Jack and Coke Old Fashioned. And I'm just calling it Jack and Coke Old Fashioned Barfly. The reason I'm making this one is because it's different than mine. And I love when the community out there comes up with original ideas. And this is just one of them. I mean, this has been, I think it was like a 2-year-old video. So it's been out there for a while, but I hadn't seen it yet. So I'm pretty excited to share this one with you. Ingredients for the Jack and Coke Old Fashioned by the Barfly. 1.5 ounces of Jack Daniel's whiskey. Pedro Jimenez Sherry. Fernet Branca. Mexican Cola Reduction. And an orange. Once again, we're making it directly in the glass with a large ice in it already. Now we're going to start by adding the sherry. So I had to go buy this sherry. I didn't have sherry here, especially he used a different sherry. They didn't have that in my area, but Steve the bartender used Pedro Jimenez, so that's what I got. And it's a very small amount. It's just 1/4 ounce. So we're just going to add a little bit of that in there. Now this is going to add some sweetness, some flavor, some darkness to it, which is going to be good to help balance this drink out. Next, we're adding the Fernet. Now, this one you have to be really careful with because overdoing this can really quickly overtake your drink. He said he played with it for a while, trying to figure out the right balance. And so 1/4 ounce of this is just enough to add a little bit of a different taste. This is their bitters component. So an old fashioned requires a spirit, a bitters, and a sugar. This is the bitters component. Now we're adding a whole 1/2 ounce of this Mexican Cola Reduction. He did say that this was going to make it pretty sweet. The last drink I made with this one, it wasn't that sweet. I thought it was going to be a little bit sweeter. So I'm definitely just going to put that 1/2 ounce in there. But it makes it nice and dark and going to add some sweetness and balance to this. And he's only using 1.5 ounces of Jack. We're going to pour that in there as well. Let's go ahead and stir this up. This drink looks a lot darker than the other ones. Nice aroma coming off of it. Just stir it till it chills. Not over stirring it because we don't want to water this drink down too much. But we want to taste it. He's asking for an orange peel to express the oils over as well. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to express these oils over the top and just kind of wipe the outside. But I'm not dumping this one in. I felt like this orange is a little bit bitter and making some bitterness to this drink. So I don't want to have that in this one, but let's go ahead and sip this one. Now that is very, very different. You're getting that sweetness from the cola. You have that little bit of whiskey at the end, but the drink kind of hides that whiskey. I taste the sherry. I taste a little bit of that hint of Fernet in the background. I think that's well balanced for that. Drink is very complex, but it's not highlighting the whiskey like I would like it to, but it's a very good drink. I really like this. And I think if my wife tastes all three of this is the one she'll like. Because of that complexity, because of that difference, because of that darkness, because of that depth in there. Yeah, that sherry really stands out in this one. So, not bad at all. So here you go. All three of my drinks. I'm excited. I'm excited to be a Squire. I appreciate that they thought of me because you could only nominate so many people. And I was on their list, so I appreciate that. Thank you guys again. Stir these up one more time. Taste them one more time. And give you my final thoughts on these. So the original, using the Coke itself as the sugar, have bitters, and of course some Jack in here. Very good Jack and Coke. Here, Coke Reduction, Jack, some bitters. I like that one. That one's actually very well balanced. It's sitting down. I didn't leave the oranges as you saw. I don't have that bitterness that I was having earlier, and that drink has just gotten better. Here's the one from Educated Barfly that I saw off of Steve the bartender's video. Very complex, great mouthfeel, very different. But if you were to give that to me and tell me, I wouldn't have guessed that was a Jack and Coke. But it's a great drink. Love the way it tastes on the mouth and love that evolution. So I like that one. I just don't feel like that's a good representative of a Jack and Coke in my opinion. But it's a great drink and I love that evolution it does on the tongue. So I hope you enjoyed these simple riffs on a Jack and Coke Old Fashioned. These two are my originals, and this one was by Educated Barfly. We are not done yet. I'm still taking it up to the next level. Hit that like button and subscribe so you can find out how I'm taking this to the next level. Well, my friends, thank you for joining me on another journey down my old-fashioned rabbit hole, or I should say my Jack old-fashioned rabbit hole. To our next journey, my friends, cheers.